Well, I want to jump right into your super impressive savings of $100,000 in 3 years while working on a $54,000 a year salary. So I just have to ask, how did you do that? Like exactly step by step, give us all the goods.
Well, it was $54,000 before taxes. So after taxes, it came out to about 40K. Just wanted to clarify that.
That's
But it
important.
still was not a lot of money. And, the first thing I did in order to be able to save that much money was set the intention. So I was coming out of college, fresh face, first job, or first full-time paying job. I'd never earned that much money in my life. And I wanted to just, make it count, make it matter. And so I told myself I was going to do everything I could to save. The challenge for me was that I didn't really know much about personal finance. So outside of setting the intention, the next thing I did was to start to educate myself on basically how money worked, how to budget, how to save. Another thing that was presented to me at my job by my employer at our orientation by HR was the option to contribute to my employer's retirement account. And they had talked about something called free money, which I later learned was a match. And I was all over it. As soon as I heard free money, I was like, I'll take it. I don't know what it means. I don't know what investing is, but I'll do it. So I did that. Then I started to learn about investing and invested more of my money. Um, I got really mean and lean with my budget. So I was saving 40 to 50% of every paycheck. I was saving every tax return and every bonus I got. And I was taking advantage of my work benefits. So if I was working late, sometimes there would be like, dinner at work, or if there were like baby showers or retirement parties, I would be trolling the hallways getting the free food. So I did those things. And then one thing that was really pivotal for me when it came to saving was starting a side hustle. So I started a wedding photography, well, a lifestyle and wedding photography business. And I would spend my nights and weekends taking pictures, building up a portfolio, trying to get people to hire me. And over time, that really paid off. So the first year, I made about $10,000, paid my taxes, bought more equipment. And then the second year, I made about $30,000. And it really helped to push my savings over that $100,000 mark.
Yeah, so when you were, you set the intention for 100,000, you weren't really sure how you were going to get there. So you figured out, hey, adding a side hustle, obviously doing the 401k match, doing other investments. You just started adding things to the plan as you learned about them.
Exactly. As I was learning, I was reworking my plan. I was head deep in my spreadsheets all the time, but I was learning as I went along, and I was reading a ton of books, following a ton of blogs of people who had saved much more money than, I was trying to save, people who had paid off tons of debt. And so it really motivated me.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious, like, what did you do when you hit your milestone? Like when you saw 100,000 in the account, did you did you celebrate? Did you buy something? What happened?
I actually kept saving for a while after that. Well, I still saved continuously, but I remember I looked at my account and I think it was like almost at the 4 year mark, and I had something like $128,000 there. And then I was like, oh my God, I've crossed the six-figure mark. Because for me, I was like, well, if I dollar mark and something happens to my investments, then, it's not really 100,000, it's like 99,000.
Yeah.
So I waited until I was well over, but then I ended up splurging and I bought a handbag. That was one of the
Oh.
first things I remember doing once I got over that hurdle.
Which is really funny because I feel like a lot of financial people, there's kind of this funny meme on the internet right now. It's like, just buy the latte. Like, sometimes I think you're told when you need to save money or you need to budget, it's like, do not buy coffee, do not buy the handbag, do not, like, it's like anything you kind of think is like a little bit of a splurge, like you don't get any of those. So it's kind of funny
Mhm.
that you bought a handbag.
Yeah, I think people also take that whole latte idea out of context. Like, I feel like the originator of that whole, latte factor was
Yeah.
really just trying to imply that don't go overboard buying. Some people don't realize that all those small amounts add
Yeah.
up over time, especially if you're doing it multiple times a day. So it may not be a latte, it might be something else. And you may not even realize that that's one of the areas that you could save a little bit to, like, ramp up on your savings or debt payoff.
Totally. Well, obviously, you were learning a lot about finance while you were going through this process, and it actually led you to create Clever Girl Finance, which is a platform that empowers and educates women to achieve financial independence. So, number one, what tools or resources does your platform offer? And then, number two, when it comes to women achieving financial independence, what do you think is their biggest barrier? So, let's start with, what exactly does Clever Girl Finance offer people?
So we, like you mentioned, we're an online financial education platform. So we offer online courses, access to coaches, and also access to mentors, basically encouragement from other women who have gone through the process you're going through and gone to the other side and are showing people that it's possible. We also have a really incredible community and blog and podcast. So it's really like a environment where you can feel safe and comfortable and not feel judged when you come to improve your finances and just talk about your financial goals and your current financial situation. When it comes to women achieving financial independence, I think one of the biggest barriers is just self. It is mindset. It is what we think we can accomplish versus what we think we cannot accomplish. It is telling ourselves that we can't do something before we've even tried. And it is looking at what everybody else is doing and thinking they're so much further ahead than we are that what's the point of making the effort? So I would definitely say it is self and just overcoming that whole mindset of I can't, regardless of your situation, and putting yourself in a position where you set the intention like I did that even though I don't know how to do this, even though I don't have all the steps, I'm setting the intention to actually go out and do this. And when you set that intention, you're more likely to put in the effort and take the actions necessary to reach the goals that you're trying to accomplish for yourself.
Yeah, I also think that, as you mentioned, like you set the intention and then you started adding things to your plan along the way. Like you don't
Mm.
have to have everything figured out exactly. Like you can start with just, go to your HR team today and ask them and double check that you're doing, as much of the matching with your 401k. Like just those small things, as you were saying, like the whole point is that small things add up, whether you're the person buying the latte every day or you're the person who's, doing things that are helping your financial picture every day. When it comes to sort of like why it's so important for women to really be in the driver's seat, I think there's a lot of obvious reasons, but I mean, what would you say is one of the like non-obvious reasons of why it's important that women are, leading their financial future versus kind of trusting like, hey, the experts got it. I'm just gonna, I'm only gonna have my financial advisor or my partner or whatever else.
I think, I wouldn't say they're non-obvious. I think there are reasons that we've all heard, but may not necessarily have paid attention to and really thought about it in the grand scheme. So one, for example, that I would think I would maybe describe this as non-obvious is, when you are pregnant and you take time off of work, right? You take a maternity leave either for a few months or you take a break from the workforce, right? Temporarily or even permanently. And your employer will tell you in one scenario that, yeah, the 3 months you're not here, the 4 months you're not here absolutely has no impact on your performance and your ability to get raises and promotions. But that is 4 months that you're not there to perform and to deliver and to have your face in the office and be top of mind for your employer and your bosses, right? The other instance is, for women who are taking temporary breaks from work or permanent breaks from work to raise their children, there is that window of earnings that now goes away. And when you add that into, or when you look at that in perspective of the fact that women live longer than men, right? On average, that means we need more money over the course of our lifetimes. That, few years of income or even permanent, decline in income, that's a huge deal. And when you think about today's world where a lot of women are single moms or breadwinners or sole household earners, we definitely need to have our finances in order because, for many of us, we are the sole reliance. We're the only person that's there to take care of ourselves, essentially.